you guys. Welcome to the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association. Today we have Blake Rolan from Southern Illinois University. He's the OC, and today he'll be talking to us about the offensive game planning. So, Coach, the floor is yours, and take it away.
All right. I appreciate that. Blake Rolan here. Looking forward to talking for you guys a little bit. A lot of this too, I'd like to open it up, obviously, with questions and everything, toward the end of this. But I've had a chance to be here and work for Coach Hill now for 3 years here at SIU, and got the family here and everything. So we're excited to be in this part of the country, and had a chance to be at a lot of good spots with some good coaches in my past. And I've been doing it now, I think, for 15 years in college, and started as a high school coach after playing in the state of Kentucky for a couple of years, and then had a chance to GA at Auburn and sort of do that for a couple of years, then go into Division II ball for a little bit at West Georgia just for a season. Had a chance to go to Tennessee for 3 years, and really that's where I learned. I feel like that was really the best part of my early coaching, was learning from some great ones there, like a Jim Chaney and offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coaches at Tennessee, working there for 3 years of this organization. Offensively, what I wanted to do, I felt like got a good ground floor experience there with a professional approach style offense and things like that, and really just developed that through the 4 years at Cincinnati, Kentucky for a season, Dixie State and Utah right before coming here for the last 3 years. So I can't really see anybody on this deal, so I didn't know if just making sure everything's going good. My screen's being popped up sharing this offensive goal board. So really what I wanted to start with was just the hopefully this interests some of you guys, offensive coordinator types, that really just organization of what we do in fall camps, spring ball, summer installs, but really going through really just organization of an offense and how we sort of install an offense here at SIU, and then going into really more of a game week. I know days, I think it can be pretty relative in terms of how you guys are doing it at the high school level, in terms of what you're doing in spring and summer stuff with your guys, and then getting it all wrapped up going into a fall camp, into the season, and really just working how we do it by days, by base downs, third downs, red zone, install each week. Try to keep it pretty repetitive in terms of what the guys are going to know what's coming at them throughout the course of a year, and also of a season, and throughout the week, or each week, what they're expecting to receive from us as coaches, what our plan is, getting everybody on the same page and executing hopefully at a high level on Friday nights or Saturdays. So yeah, the first thing here, without you got to sort of know where you're going, what your goals are, and everybody sort of has goals at the beginning of the year. Really learned this, brought this with me from, like I said, working at Tennessee back in 2000, started in 2009, 10, I think it was 11, 12, and 13, somewhere around there. But really picking these goals up through that background. And obviously the first one is to win football games, right? But and for offense, we just got to score whatever's necessary. Yeah, we'd love to average 42 points a game, and but you also see some teams who've averaged high points again, like we had at Tennessee one year, where we had a great offensive production, but our defensive production is also giving a lot of points. So we really, the goal there is to score whatever's necessary. And how do you do that? Number one for us, for all of football, really, is turnovers, right? Eliminating turnovers. So let me share this and make it a little bit bigger for you. Is there anybody on here? Is this good? Is this tracking right now in terms of seeing it?
Everything
Okay.
looks good.
Okay. So the first thing here, primary indicators of winning. Like I said, there's 3 of them here, and this is off of really doing some deep research and studying for previous 7 years. This is taken from, like I said, I think it was 2010, but going back to 2003 and 4 all the way through in the SEC, looking at what were the indicators of winning and losing, and these are the most important relevant things here. So number 1 is we try to limit turnovers less than 1 per game. Obviously, we'd love to say, 0 turnovers. That's one of those goals that's unattainable throughout the course of a season, I believe. But if we can go less than 1 a game, if that makes sense, then at the end of the year, say you play 12 games in the season or something, or 10 games, if you have, less than 9 turnovers in a 10-game season, I consider that's a pretty good season. And so our first primary indicator of winning is obviously turnovers, taking care of the football. And on the right side of this little graph or chart here, remember on the left side is the offensive goals, the objectives. The right side was really, this is from our spring season, this past spring season. So you can sort of see what, after each game, I'd come in and show our offense this. But, our spring season, I had win, the no up the top. We didn't score more than the opponent, so at the end of the day, we averaged 27 points a game. The opponent averaged 30. We didn't do our job offensively to get enough. And then this past fall, we flipped that a little bit, but this is from the spring. I haven't updated everything on the fall season yet. But going back to turnovers, this is our no. We did not do a good job offensively, obviously, here with 12 interceptions, 8 fumbles in the course of that spring season. Did not meet our goal of less than one per game, with 20 turnovers, really almost doubled it than we should have. So the next one, going through, again, statistics and data information, all that stuff you can get really caught up in, sometimes too much, but is big plays, creating explosive plays. That's how you score points. And we'll talk some about that and what my methods or thought process is on scoring points and how to do that. But really, teams that over like I said, a 7-year study with turnovers, teams that won the turnover battle, they won, I believe it's like 90 or 80, 92% of the time. The teams that won the turnover battle won the football game just purely based on turnovers. The next one being big plays. Big play wise, teams that won the big play battle, I think it was like 87% of the time. So if they had more explosive plays than the opponent, that they won purely just based off of that information, they won 87% of the time. And if you combine those two, turnovers and big plays, if you won both the turnover battle and you have more big plays, explosive plays than the opponent, they ended up winning 100% of their games. And that's over, like I said, a 7-year study off of, I believe, 12 teams. So that's one of the only things in all the statistics and data that was 100% winning and losing a football game, was a combination of big plays and turnovers. So obviously those are the top two. And the last one there, I sort of added in the past 3 or 4 years, is really finishing the end of half in games. It's incredible how much you see this, especially at the NFL level in the 2-minute situations before the half and the college level at the end of the game. But when you're scoring points at the end of a half, I believe the statistic there was like 82% of the time, if you score points to finish the half with the ball, 82% of the time that team goes on to win the football game. So that was a big indicator, as a big deal. So I've put that up there in the past, like I said, 3 or 4 years as being your primary indicators of winning. So when our offense can see these goals, what are they? This is something that we can come back to after a scrimmage in camp, but also obviously after each game as an offense. And going to big plays, again, we consider an explosive run of 12 yards or more, an explosive pass of 16 yards or more. And we're trying to create one of those big plays every 8 plays in a game. And so what I'll do is go through, like I said, a scrimmage in those games. And if we have 3 or 4 explosive runs and 5 or 6 passes in a 70-play game, that's 12 out of 70 plays. And then you can look, that's really one out of every, almost six plays being explosive. And that's, we met our goal. So we want to be explosive one every 8 plays. And we were able to do that. We were able to win majority of your games right there. So, and then just looking at the end of games, end of halves, those are pretty common. Those are pretty easy to see. Did you finish the first half with a field goal? Did you have a chance to do that and not convert in a 2-minute situation, or did you? So on the right side, again, like I said, we averaged one every 8 plays in the spring season. For an explosive, we had 6 yeses and 4 nos during the season of did we finish the half or the game with a football at the end of the game in a 4-minute situation, closing it out, or having to score to win the game. And so those were there. The other situational objectives, and these go into really our situational offense, and this is what we'll really start focusing on in our fall camp installation too, are these critical situations. So first one here is red zone. Our goal is to score 67% of the time touchdowns in the red zone, which we cross really, I'd say inside the 24-yard line. We need to score the touchdowns 2 every 3 attempts in the red zone is the goal to get that 67%. And obviously we'd love to have 100% points. That's our goal, with at least a field goal. In the spring, we were at 63% of the time scoring touchdowns, 40 opportunities and 25 touchdowns. So not quite there, but that's something when you're installing the red zone and looking at it, that if you score the ball, if you look at the top 10 teams, offenses in the country at any level, you see teams that are around 66, 68, 69, 70% of the time scoring touchdowns. They're going to be in the top 10 offensive red zone units in the country. So that's how we get that number there. Third down efficiency, obviously huge. And we'll break this down a little bit closer into detail with third downs later, but we want to be efficient or convert 45% of the time on third downs. And then in the spring, we were phenomenal, really, I think first in the country with almost 53% of conversion rate on third downs. That will also apply to now your time of possession, your first downs, things like that. But those are the 2 critical situational objectives we'll follow. And like I said, we were great in the spring, and then 4 months later in the fall, we were not very good. And that's, again, looking, why is that? And that's what I've been doing really the last 3 or 4 days, sort of along with recruiting, obviously. But we were down to 36%, I believe it was, and this past fall. So anyway, those are things you can really harp on and work on, and this is why we're doing it. Again, if you're 45% of converting on third down in the country, you'll be a top 10 offense on third downs. Sacks is the next one. They're protecting our quarterback. Talk about that, and again, obviously, that's not just lineman blocking, and that's it. That's includes the receivers aligning right and running the right route at the right time. Knowing if you're in a system that's a hot team, site team, then you're having to adjust for those, but also your quarterback making protection calls. If your guys are doing that, your running backs protecting, obviously, tight ends and so forth. So we want to have less than 1.5 of those a game at the end of the season. We met that goal this past deal. So 1 every 21 pass attempts, we gave up a sack. And that was, we met our goal there. Run efficiency, run the football, especially in this league, this conference, like most, you got to be able to run the football to win championships. And our goal here is 55% of the time is efficient run, which efficient run is, to me, is on a first and second down run, you're getting, 4 yards or more. That's an efficient run. On third downs or in the red zone, if you're getting a first down or a touchdown, obviously, that's also an efficient one. But then looking at also yards per attempt, like to get at least 5.5 yards an attempt. We sort of gave us a yes in this one, and because we were right there on both of them. So I probably just was too nice to myself and to our offense on this one, but we were right there at the edge of 55% and 5 yards an attempt. Pass effectiveness. Again, we want to average about 7.5 yards per attempt. again, that if you're throwing it 12 times a game like I did in high school, 15 times maybe on a big night as a player, then if we're long as we're averaging 7.5 yards per attempt, that's a good day. Or if you're throwing it 40, 50 times, trying to get that 7.5 yards per attempt, we met that one. We were able to do that. And also, obviously, that comes into your big plays and explosives. And then the last one there is discipline with penalties, less than one pre-snap penalty per game. And we were just off of that one with 16 out of, I think we played 13 games that spring, or 12 games. But regardless, that's sort of a rundown of the goal sheet, a goal board, and how this will now apply to, or how we install the offense, how we go about a weekly schedule in camp, and also during a game week. After the season, it's always good to show that, obviously, to your offense going into the next season or throughout the course of the season. But the next thing here is just going through our strengths, and really sort of identifying what you were as a team, as an offense this past fall. And this is what I try to do after every game. You go through what we're good at, what we're not doing very well. Same thing as an offense here at the end of the season. Here are the strengths of our offense. How do we continue to? Why were we strong? Why did we do well? Was it personnel? Was it scheme? What was that? And also, how can we continue to do those things well, or and improve them? So the strength of our offense there, our top three there, were total offensive in terms of yards per play. I think in the ranking there to show our guys, show our offense, hey, we're number one in the Missouri Valley total offense, 425 yards a game, 6 yards per play, 12th in the NCAA. The next one is pass efficiency. I don't know, really haven't studied this well enough how they come up with these efficiency grades. I really look at, obviously, target throws, drops, and then completion percentage. But the numbers come through on the pass efficiency at 145, whatever that means. And then 68% completion percentage. We're first in the conference and 8th in the country. So, and then, like I said, third downs were a strong suit for us. We were first in the country in the Missouri Valley. So shooting in our league, if you're in the top 4 or 3 in our league, typically you're going to be in the top 10 or 15 in the country. So, but yeah, then we looked at our weaknesses, looking at these, why were these weak? Why were these our weaknesses? And our players are really own this stuff, and our coaches to own this, and to try to create ways in practice and in the off season how to get better at this. So number one, turnovers were not good enough. This past fall, it was better. Our defense had a lot of takeaways. We're on the top in the country this year on defense, taking the football away, and we did not turn the ball over near as often as we did in the spring, and we won a little more games by doing that. But we did have certain games where you can really see the difference there of winning and losing because of what the offense is putting the ball on the ground or throwing the ball to the wrong team. So 20 turnovers, like we said earlier, 10th in the Missouri Valley, right? Not good. 92nd in NCAA. So that was, you can really point to that. Why were we turning the ball over? And those are the things you work on. Red zone touchdowns. Again, we're 6th in the Missouri Valley with 63%. And really, RPO and drop back pass execution is sort of where I narrowed that down to. And I guess a pretty general idea, but executing at a high level, especially in the red zone, where it becomes so critical to crunch the space. The timing has to be better. The feet of the quarterback, the route depth, the release, pass pro, all those things got to be dialed in and tightened up. And then the third one was scoring. Did not score enough points per game. And so again, just big picture, sure, trying to shrink some stuff down to where do we have to get better? What can we improve on? Why are we good? Why are we bad? Those things. And like I said, with third downs going into the critical statistics part of it, really breaking it down more so in the distance of those third downs and where we were, how many attempts we had on third and short, third and medium, as opposed to third and long. What was our conversion rate? And then also what was our average down or our average distance on those third downs? and these over here, you can really fall in and find, hey, we were an average third down was 3rd and 6, so that gives you a chance there in a 3rd and medium. And also now with all the information, all the new data stuff and analytical part of it, most teams now are trending to go on forward more on 4th down. And so now some of these 3rd down calls, which we can talk about later too, you're really maybe trying to get it to 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 1. But we were able to get to a 3rd and manageable situation, 3rd and 6, and the defense has to think about the run every once in a while too, in that down and distance, as opposed to being 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 all the time where they're thinking pass and screen. So then we go through a number of attempts in each of these distance areas, and you want to obviously have less 3rd and longs than you do. Less 3rd and longs than you do 3rd and shorts. And so you can sort of see as an offense too, where, 1st and 2nd down, where are you getting? And so you can sort of see how we broke this down in conversion rate. Really the goal for 3rd and 11 plus, in my opinion, overall wise, like we talked about, being 45% is the goal. But 3rd and 11 plus really is around 10 to 15% of the time converting those. Hopefully you don't have very many of them. And the reason I gave us our bad or our red there is because we had too many. We had 17, which was too many. You need to have, hopefully one of those a game or less. 3rd and 7 to 10, we were good at converting those again. And same thing with this past fall, we were really good 3rd and 7 plus conversion. Our issues were 3rd and shorts this past fall. So, but again, just breaking this down, giving our guys something to think about, really for me as the coordinator, for Coach Hill, for our offensive coaches to really give us some good information to learn from and to get better with. So critical statistics here. This is something I do after every game we go through, and also after every scrimmage. Just an example of a scrimmage, I think, from this past fall, I believe, fall camp. And as an offense, we're tracking these certain things, and I'll explain. So this missed assignments, we track our missed assignments by position group. And we sort of put them up there for them after every game on our grade sheets and everything. It's like, hey, receivers, you had 4 missed assignments. Either that was run the wrong route, not blocking the right person, or blocking when you're supposed to be running an RPO, a bubble or something, aligning terribly so you can't even get the play off the right way. Those kind of deals. Was it a conversion? You didn't convert this route on this coverage, and on down the list with O-line, running backs, tight ends, and quarterbacks. So loafs, this is something that we started tracking a lot more this past fall. Really, our defense does a great job with tracking they don't call them loafs. Just drew a blank on what the term is for the defensive guys, but they really track, I forgot what they call it now, but for us, of not finishing the play. And we have certain standards that we set for each group, for each part of practice too. If it's skelly, if it's inside run, if it's team drills, and obviously in the game, are you finishing through the whistle? Are you finishing with the ball and without the football? Are your O-linemen covering down the field after the pass? Are we finishing blocks with our hands on the defender, through the whistle or through so many certain lines and skelly, things like that. So we track that. We track penalties, obviously. We really want to harp on pre-snap penalties, something different about, unless you're getting called for tons of holdings and things, but really pre-snap penalties are those that are self-inflicted, that are require nothing but just more dialed in, paying attention, locked in detail, doing your job with false starts, alignment issues for receivers, movement, those things up front and at the tight end position. So tracking those, and then really our issues. And I have these little signs here from the previous scrimmage one. Hey, we had 35 less issues than we did the first scrimmage. And so you can sort of go through that also throughout the course of a season. I always talk about we want to be the best toward the end of the season. We want to improve each week, and those are things you can track for sure as an offense. And creating an issue would be when you're watching that film. did the O lineman, did they go to did the center make the wrong point? Did the left guard not go to his backer? Did he just get beat with bad technique or footwork? The quarterback, again, quarterbacks creating issues really with decision making, right? With bad ball security, with bad technique, hand the football off the right way, reading the right person on the RPO, whatever it may be, going through. And then we really track our explosive plays. Obviously, we talked about that. And when showing them, like, hey, we had 7 pass explosives, 1 run that was for 98 yards. And then our negative plays, I really highlight our 0-yard runs, are obviously penalties, sacks, interceptions, and then negative runs. So 0-yard runs and negative yard runs. How many of those are we having? How many negative yards are we giving up in a game? Self-inflicting wounds, and we need to show them, hey, we can eliminate these 2 or 3 plays. You're gonna have some critical negative plays, but we got to have an ability to overcome some of this stuff. And sometimes when you have a snap over your head for minus 14 yards on 2nd and 10, then obviously 3rd and 24 is not a good situation, hard to overcome those things. But really just tracking this stuff here. So I'm going to get off of this part of the screen share here real quick. I'm going to try to share something, some PDFs. Any questions at this point from anybody before I go on? Or if this isn't really, there's not too many guys on here. So if you have any questions, feel free, obviously, to speak up and slow me down or change course if you want. But I was going to go next to these. Make sure this is going to pull up for you the right way here. How we install an offense. It's really starting from like a fall camp spring ball type mentality into, then I'll go into a certain game week and how we do it throughout the course of a week. So again, if I'm, let me know if you have any questions about anything here, and I got some quarterback fundamental stuff I'm going to go through here toward the end as well. But offensively, this is how sort of we go into a fall camp. And also, this is something I believe is very important, is how we install an offense throughout the course of the year. So we'll start come back here in January with our off-season program with workouts and morning workouts into February. And then we'll have a spring ball time at some point and usually late February, early March. And then we'll install an offense, our offense. And this one here, like I said, in about 7 installs, and that could be across about 7 days, or that can be also 1 install every 2 days, however you go about it. But these are our 7 installs, the dates here, the number of practices. So we're getting through our 7 installs and 8 practices. And we'll go like a practice and then a day off. We'll have meetings instead, no practice on the field, come back the next day and practice again. And go really through that at least 1 day in between practices throughout the course of the spring. So we're able to install 7 days of installation. That's about 98% of your offense. And so every spring ball, this is how it's going to go. In the summertime, when they come back in the summer, they'll install it on their own a little bit more, or through Zooms and Loom videos and things like that, which we've obviously learned throughout the pandemic. And then come back into fall camp, we'll also install it in the same amount of days progression wise, and then going through why we install it this way. So they're getting the course of this after a year or two. Really, they know what to expect in terms of what day is coming up. And the first 2 days we're not in shells or shoulder pads. So we really focus on certain things like zone run scheme instead of any power gap schemes without shoulder pads on. So we'll stick to more of our zone run stuff. And then really our bread and butter of the offense in this first 4 days is in the run game and your passing game. So, but yeah, day 1 and day 2, our install 1 and install 2, we're really putting in our personnel groupings. It goes down the list here by formations, which are going in, adjustments, which is alignments, motions and shifts, our tempos each day. So how we change tempos up, our runs. These are just the names of the runs here. Our protections going in each day, quick game, drop back, play action pass, movement throws, RPOs, screens, and then our jets, militaries was our tempo plays. So our first 2 days are base down plays, our first and second down calls in between the 20s. And then on day 3, we sort of introduced some third downs, some third down situations, maybe it's third and medium calls, third and short calls here on day 3, as the really the emphasis there. Then day 4, we're finishing up our third down install, third and longs, some more pass concepts for maybe third and long. And then on day 5, we're getting into the red zone, and we are, putting in our red zone plan, high red on install 5. Install 6 is more your low red, and then some short yardage. And then the last day here really is finishing up some short yardage goal line type stuff, third and ones, fourth and ones, inside the 4, inside the 3-yard line. And then you're just some other concepts you may want to put in there that are part of your offense. Then we have a bank over here, which we'll pull from the remainder of sort of your camp. But to me, this is a good opportunity to have everybody on the same page, obviously going through it as a coaching staff, but also your players getting a feel for how we're installing plays, while we're doing it, and also the situational aspect of each day. So we'll do like a third down presentation on day 3. We'll do a turnover presentation on day 1. Day 2 is physicality presentation. We'll have each coach, different coach, maybe come up to the front of the offense and talk about the importance of ball security, how to hold the football, third downs, what's important, and what are we looking for, red zone, those type of deals there. The next part here would be our just a typical. This is our day 1 install, and this is the format we go through as an offense. And I sort of categorize it for the players, for our drawings and everything, but also just for the players to see what's going in this day, what runs are going in. This is the formation. This is the call. These are the formations and the protections, the run plays, all that we just went through on the bank of the installation. But each day they'll get a sheet. They'll get this spread. They'll get to see what's going in, passes, which type of pass, quick game, drop back, nakeds, play actions, screens, and then our jet and military. So again, it's a lot. Looks like a lot, obviously, but we'll sort of categorize it each day. So that'd be like just a day 1 install for fall camp right there. Again, I'm flying through this a little bit, but trying to keep in mind too, this is going to be maybe viewed later on throughout the year for other guys and things like that for coaches. But then the game week itself, how do we go about a game week as an offensive coordinator or as a play caller or as an offensive coach, being just organized throughout the part of the weeks. As in high school, maybe you come in on Saturdays and watch the film as a staff, or you come in on Sundays, or you don't come in until Mondays and you sort of recap that game. Our schedule here, we'll get the game done on Saturday, obviously at some point. Sunday, we'll come in and grade the film, and on Sunday afternoon, we're meeting with our players. We actually practice on Sunday. We bring them in treatments, recovery stuff, watch the film from the game before, and then we'll go out and have a modified shortened practice. Really nothing to do much with the opponent typically the following week, but really just cleaning up some corrections from the game. And then really the biggest thing for us is the developmental aspect for those guys who maybe redshirting or not playing as much, putting a good 30 minutes or so with just those young guys. When the guys who have been playing are doing more recovery stuff with our strength and conditioning coach, but really developing players on Sunday. And then as a coaching staff, you come back in Sunday and evening, and you put that game behind you and you move into the next opponent. And so on Monday is a game plan day for us. Players aren't even around us. That's their day off during the week, and focusing on academics and getting a week started well. And then on Tuesday, though, is when we come in with a plan for first and second downs for our offense. And so on Tuesdays, we present the base runs that we want to put in for the week. by formation, by scheme. And this is like a typical, it's just too many runs. We've knocked it down a little bit more this year, to get it down about 30 in terms of these are total plays, and these aren't different run schemes. These are really about 7 or 8 run schemes, probably, or maybe more like 4 or 5 run schemes, but with different formations and motions, personnel groupings, things like that. But this is sort of what we go into a typical week, going into it with 12 personnel being our 2 tight end sets, 2 receiver set, and then our 11 personnel in 20 and 21 stuff. But it's been getting organized and dialed in for our players to see. Then our O-line coach and tight ends coach, and those guys can draw up the defenses against these fronts, against these runs that certain fronts are going to be in, and things like that. So this would be a base run install on given out on Tuesdays, as well as the base pass install. Same kind of deal. We've broken it down here: quick game, drop back, play action, movement throws, which are sprint outs or nakeds, screens, some wildcat stuff, maybe some trick plays ideas here. But these are, again, our first, second down runs and passes here on Tuesday. And we'll carry over a lot of these 2 to 3rd downs and some red zone stuff as well. But it just gives our guys, drawings or whatever it may be, getting a lot of carryover. Try to at least carry over as much as you can week to week without creating too many crazy tendencies. But these are just examples of pace, first and second down calls for the offense. Then on Wednesdays, we dial in more 3rd down and red zone for our guys. And so we break down our 3rd downs, and we get the ideas and the plays dialed up for that week opponent and that week's opponent. And our guys are getting this, and they're able to see and have a feel, especially your quarterback, knowing. And then we'll go through this now the remainder of the week, really Thursday, Friday, going through what they feel good with, what they like the most, why they like it, why are we calling these route concepts on this certain down and distance. Are they playing man, more of a zone team, more of a man team on 3rd down, high pressure teams, we got to protect it more, things like that. So 3rd down and red zone, again, this is for us a Wednesday install. For you guys, it might be more of your Tuesday game plan a day earlier than we do. But same thing in the red zone, sort of bringing it down in high red, sort of mid to low red, and then our runs and our passes broken down in here. But our guys are on the same page, knowing, again, these are the plays we're going with this week. Again, a lot of carryover. And again, knowing about that these points in the week, defensively what you're looking at, what their tendencies are, and formatting a plan for it. So that's really the install on Wednesday, and Thursday, cleaning it up. Thursday for us, we go Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty hard, pretty physical practices Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursdays for us, we go now to a no sweat Thursday type deal, where on Thursdays it's more of our walkthrough tempos, and dialing in and being really locked in mentally, but not be out there in pads and hitting. It's really cleaning up the stuff from the install from day 1 and 2, Tuesday and Wednesday's practices, getting some 3rd down and short calls, maybe some red zone, some certain situational things on Thursday's walkthrough. And then by the end of Thursday's practice, we have a quick meeting with our offense, and show them a little bit of video from that week's practice, a couple things that we're trying to emphasize, and then also maybe some relevant stuff from our opponent. And then on Friday for us, your guys' is Thursdays. We actually go what we call a Fast Friday, and it's that whole, again, analytical body type stuff in terms of getting your heart rate, getting your intensity up and down at the right certain amount of times throughout the week. So you're at a high level, obviously on Saturday. On Sunday, you're coming down, but that's when we practice on Sunday. It's not a complete drop off in terms of physical activity. That's why I have a little bit of your recovery sessions, little workout kind of stuff, or developmental stuff. So you're bringing them down. Monday, they're down at the bottom in terms of they're not doing any workouts, any physical contact, anything like that. Hopefully sleeping. and getting rest and studying. And then on Tuesday, you're sort of building that back up again. Well, on Tuesday and Wednesday, you're trending up in terms of physical activity. We work out twice a week too, so we'll have workouts on those days. Tuesdays, I believe, and Thursday mornings, and sometimes Friday. So then you'll have that Tuesday and Wednesday where you're at a pretty intense level. Then on Thursday, you're bringing them back down again. And no sweat Thursday. Friday, you're going back up onto a fast, really fast tempo, full speed, but with only helmets during this part of a Friday. So fast Friday, you have your game plan in. And now you're able to sort of call off the script, sort of what we do, go off the script and just go from coming out situation, first, second down, third downs, third and shorts, fourth and shorts, and then going through the high red zone, flipping it back around, going down this again off the script, calling it sort of like as you would as a play caller, off the hip a little bit, and then our guys having to line up and execute really well, being dialed in, locked in, and getting a good probably 35 plays or so for the first team, full speed tempo reps. So their heart rate's up, they're moving, they're going full speed, but again, without any hitting physical contact stuff. And then we'll finish that practice off Friday with a special team script walkthrough. So again, making sure everybody knows kickoff return, punt return, field goal, all those field goal block, all those situational things on Friday. And then we're off. And now we got in that tempo, that heart rate, that physical stuff going back up, trending towards Saturday's game. And then after that, post game, going back to our grade sheet, after a game, going through, now this is the same thing we went through earlier with your goal boards, but now it's for just that opponent. So this would be an example of this past about 3 or 4 weeks ago now from the playoff game. Did we win the game? Yes. Or score, protect the football? Yes. Make big plays? No, weren't explosive, but protected the quarterback? Yes. Ran the ball, so forth, like we just talked about, but showing them that in terms of the game. So again, sort of I got some quarterback stuff here. If any guys are interested in some quarterback, more video things, some grading issues, how you grade quarterbacks, expectations for them. And I got some film if you want me to show you anything from our past season or from drill tape for quarterbacks. So, and if not, then I could just there's no questions or anything. I can move into just finish up my time here, maybe with just some drill work from our quarterback stuff. So, but does anybody have any questions about anything at this point? Anything you want to see?
No questions at this time, Coach.
All right. Well, I can go and sort of just go through a drill tape of quarterback stuff. If that's what you'd like. Now, what's your name again? I'm sorry.
Luis.
So, Luis, I can finish this up with really just going through a drill tape with quarterback.
Yeah, that works. Or
I can just, shut it down, whatever
it's up to you, Coach.
All right. Well, I can just throw up some quarterback stuff real quick. Let me share this part of it. And again, I can just fly through here, showing some certain drills that we do. I'm not a huge multiple drill guy. I like to really find about 6 to 7 things for quarterbacks for us to improve on it, and what's applicable to actual football and game situational stuff that we can do and they can do on their own. Some of these, obviously, and throughout the summer and off season and winter and things, but really a lot of my drill stuff, not to name drop too much or anything, which we all as coaches obviously try to take things from other coaches and good coaches that you know of and you've been around. But one of the guys that when I coached receivers was Clyde Christensen, who's now quarterbacks coach with Brady in Tampa Bay, but Clyde was also, when I first met him, was in Indianapolis with Peyton. So he's had a couple good quarterbacks, I'd say. But Clyde is a guy that really, he coached receivers as well at one point, and now quarterbacks. But so I've really taken a lot from Coach Christensen's and stuff that we've been trying to meet with him once a year too, but getting a good drill tape for receivers, which I used to coach, and now with quarterbacks, same kind of methodology, really is starting at their tempo in terms of drill work, and then ending at your tempo, not especially in the receiver world with their legs, and the quarterbacks with their arms, warming them up while getting drill work done. And this is something that we start with, that we'll start with multiple days, especially during camps. It's just basic straight drop back footwork, getting comfortable, getting the ball in the right spot. Also making sure you wear a mask like that. You're outside. This is at the very beginning of, I think, COVID, two falls ago, whatever it was now. But yeah, just going straight down the line, this is after they're stretched and get out and just getting their feet and their legs warm and their hips and everything, straight down the line, just getting their eyes downfield, basic, good body control, good control with the football. Again, getting the ball up, nothing too ridiculous, but like here with this quarterback, having to me, this is a good place to hold the ball really between the breastplates, in a comfortable position, not too rigid, not too tight, but a chance to get the ball in and out of your hand quickly, not having it too light right here, be a little bit low for you. When they're doing this drill here, that's a good spot to be in. Good spot to be in here, right under the chin, close to your body, 2 hands in the football. And then from this drill, then we'll go to straight down the line again. We went with this day with that, like I'm going to say, a 3-step drop, and then they went back and they would shuffle straight back. And then when we clap, they're just getting that back foot in the ground and throwing a ball, getting the ball out of your hand quickly and accurately. Again, nothing crazy. This is part of your warm up, but getting the ball out of your hand on the clap quickly. And again, this is definitely part of their warm up and getting their bodies going a little bit here. But again, it's about holding the football at the right spot, good stance when I'm taking a snap. Then we'll adjust, and again, now we'll go into really just flipping the hips, trying to stay straight down that line as well, not stepping too far out of underneath your body, but being in a situation where your feet are always in a good situation to get the ball out quickly. And this is just going down the line. I'd flip them. I'd say move or flip or switch. And again, keeping that ball in a good spot while getting them going. This is a ladder drill. Everybody's, has been a part of a ladder drill. Again, this is getting the blood going. This is getting continuing to get warm and loose with their feet, starting at the bottom. And then you're just doing multiple things with 1 foot in, 1 foot out, getting the ball, keeping the ball, 2 hands in the football, obviously with great ball security being always talked about at this position. And then just getting your feet better and quicker and light on your toes. But here, just keeping different types of ladder drills you can do. And we're finishing here with throws. Again, short throws, check down type throws. So you're not throwing their arms. This is after they've warmed up a little bit their arms already, but still in the process of warming up. Obviously, filming these things from certain angles, you can definitely show these. This is the good thing about the OTA situation we had going on during COVID when we weren't doing as much practice as we were doing, more so individual stuff. And so it was really good. We could film this, show them, where their deficiencies are, and where their weight is coming from, how long it takes the ball to get out of their hand, where their feet are we in a good base? Are we on a platform? Are we, too big of a base, too small of a base, things like that. So these are just, again, from a different angle here of the throws. Then I'll get behind them with a video too to show them really just how the ball is coming out of their hand, moving their targets, their shoulders, things like that. So those first ones there are really just part of the warm-up process. I'm getting going. Same thing here. Now we're working this 3-bag drill. Now it's just keeping our guys with a good base, getting the weight transition and shifted through their back foot. I always tell them when we're doing these drills from here on out now is really moving our back foot, or if I'm right-handed, obviously my right foot, our back foot here needs to be the one moving first when I'm going forward and backwards. So I'm ready to get the ball out whenever I need to based on what the defense is throwing at you. So emphasizing that, obviously, we're just moving keeping a good base here with our feet, not too wide, not too close. This is going to help us get the ball out without having to regather our feet, reshuffle. And again, this is just a deal to get your hips through the throw without overstepping with your footwork and getting things off kilter here. And all I'm doing is just moving them, making them work side to side. Again, you don't want huge steps like this is too big of a step on that one there. And the ball is moving a little bit too much for you up and down. Where here you just want to keep that ball in that position like this one is, in a good steady position, not going too much activity, moving the ball away from your body so those D linemen, those pass rushers aren't getting hands on it. So again, you got quarterback here who's 5, almost 9, Nick Baker. He'll get mad if I don't say he's 5'9". And then you got guys who are 6'2", 6'3", still doing the same deal.
Well, that was great, Coach. We are running out of time here. We do appreciate you for sharing and taking the time. And on behalf of the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association, we would like to thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.